Brigadier Apte, let us start. You have
Yeah, but 1 minute.
welcome to the show, Brigadier Apte, Ajit Apte ji. Brigadier Ajit Apte ji, welcome to the show. We will break this overview of the 71 thing into two parts. Today we will be doing for 14 minutes, 4 minutes. The reason is that it becomes easy for 14 minutes to be, and 14 minutes is a long enough time for a monologue. And I'll be stopping my voice as soon as in the next 10 seconds. You please take us through and throw light on the major features of the 71 war, which led to that war, and what led to the formation of Bangladesh, and what price did India pay to help Bangladesh get formed. What is the price that we paid as a nation?
Okay. Good evening, Amit. Thank you very much. At the outset, it is important to note that there was a turmoil in East Pakistan consequent to the elections which were held in 1969-70 as announced by the Pakistan government on the West. That resulted in a imbalance as far as General Yahya Khan was concerned and his political parties were concerned. They had not anticipated that Sheikh Mujib will get majority in the East. And Mr. Bhutto also did not like it when Sheikh Mujibur Rahman got the majority votes on both the parties, with the result that they decided to have an agreement, and General Yahya Khan went to East Pakistan, to Dhaka, on the plea that they will arrive via media solution. However, that was not acceptable to East Pakistan, since they had realized they were at the mercy of the West Pakistanis since independence. There are many issues which came up soon after partition, which we will not go into because that will take too long. It will not focus on the 71 war per se. When this happened and Yahya Khan promised that there will be some kind of a negotiation in March, he went back on the 24th or 25th of March. At that time, General Sahibzada Yaqub Khan had been military in charge in East Pakistan. He was a decent person, a general in the Indian Army before partition, but Yahya Khan got him removed and put General Tikka Khan there, who was known as the Butcher of Baluchistan. General Tikka Khan unleashed terror, and on 25 March, the crackdown started, called Operation Searchlight. However, General Tikka Khan, because of his ruthless attitude and at the behest of the Americans, was removed, and General Niazi was made the leader or the head of the Eastern Army of Pakistan in East that time. The Operation Searchlight targeted killing all the intelligentsia in East Pakistan, that is, bureaucrats, the politicians, the engineers, the scientists, the educationists, and all these people. Therefore, it tantamounted to genocide. In this genocide, there were many people who fled. Their families were massacred, they were killed. The women were assaulted, and there was total mayhem in East Pakistan. many refugees started fleeing into India, and these refugees were not only the Bengali Muslims, but even the Hindus. So the large influx was a major issue for India. Now, this commenced sometime in March 1971, soon after Operation Searchlight had been launched by the East Pakistan Army, the Eastern Command. At that time, there were many East Bengal units, regular army units of East Bengal, which were actually known as the Pakistan Armed Forces. India, they wanted help. Bahini and the Mukti Jodha that a government of Bangladesh had been established in exile in Calcutta. And suddenly the thing stopped. So I also, kya ho gaya? I don't know. Hello.
There was this internet failure. Internet failure. Again, it has been restored. You continue from where you left, General Brigadier Apte ji.
Okay, okay. So what happened was that this government in exile, which had been formed in Calcutta, definitely had the approval of the government of India. The Ministry of External Affairs and the other political machinery knew that this government in exile has been formed. At that time, General Jacob, who was the Chief of Staff in Eastern Command, had got to know that there is some movement and they need Indian support. However, this support got legitimized sometime in June, July, and with the increasing influx of the refugees and to prevent them from being massacred in East Pakistan, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi ordered the international border to be opened right from Agartala on the top northeast, going down towards the southwest opposite Baghdad and Boira side, coming down. That is closer to Calcutta, Kanchapara, and those areas. There is a testimony to this because there is a lady whose grandfather and other relatives were taken prisoners and massacred, whereas this lady and her mother managed to reach Agartala, and then with the help of the BSF and the police and the Indian Army managed to come into India across the Agartala place. At that time, there were Bengali leaders, the Mukti Jodha or the Mukti Bahini. They formed the revolutionary movement, and the Mukti Bahini were being trained. So they were trained by us. There were approximately 1 lakh Mukti Bahini, Mukti Jodha, as they are referred to, and they had a set task. Some of them came with their weapons, their ammunition, and the Indian Army provided the camps were set up from March, and our troops carried out this training. This training was carried out in a number of camps, and the training was divided into 3 parts, wherein they were to be trained in the basic infantry weapons to carry out patrolling, raids, ambushes, destroy beams, that is bridges, culverts, and cause harassment. In the next part was also to carry out harassment fire by the artillery as and when required. And in phase 3 was actually find and launch guerrilla tactics warfare. So about 70% was to be this type of harassing and 30% was to participate in the offensive operations as and when they would start. No one had expected when exactly the future conflict would take place. At this time, Indira Gandhi, our Prime Minister, mobilized world opinion. She informed America, she informed the European world, she informed the other nations that India is facing a great impact of the tyranny and the terror being unleashed or the genocide being carried in East Pakistan. When Yahya Khan had come back, it is now evident that he had decided to take punitive action and to be ready in case
Brigadier
India
Apte ji,
launches.
Brigadier Apte ji, just a small interception, sir.
Yeah.
Just a small intervention. I have 2 more minutes for this first part of this overview, wherein the
Okay.
important question I want you to answer in the next 2 minutes is, what price did India pay for the formation of Bangladesh?
I want to know one thing. See, I have not yet given you the overview of the offensive operations. So if you want me to give that or answer your question, the price that India paid was that for firstly, Bangladesh was made because of the Indian Armed Forces intervention. That there is no doubt. So it is with the major portion of the role played by the Indian Armed Forces on the Eastern Front, of course, had support from the Mukti Bahini or the Mukti Jodha. So the Indian Army, India paid the price by going to war. There were casualties. There was an economic impact. There was a financial impact. There was a loss of lives to the Indian forces, Army, Navy, and Air Force people. Because of this, the war was declared by Yahya Khan. He carried out a preemptive airstrike on 3rd December. There was an offensive launch from the Western Front. Indira Gandhi declared war, and India paid the price by going to war, by losing people, and having an economic impact. So in simple terms, there was definitely an impact, but the result was that India's image boosted in the international image
Okay,
because we create new
Brigadier
country.
Apte, number of casualties.
Well, there were a huge number, maybe in something like 1,000, including the about 1,000 people killed. There were a lot of wounded, but I wouldn't be able to tell you the exact figures right now. But there were
the period for which the war continued.
the period of war is actually officially since declaration of war was 3rd December, but the war, as far as we are concerned, commenced in much earlier, right? Since March, April, Indian Army units have been carrying out small time infiltration and raid. I myself opened fire on 28th September. So as far as I'm concerned, war for me was
When did it end officially? When was the treaty signed?
16th December 1971, when
Brigadier
Dhaka surrendered.
Brigadier Apte, next part of this show, we will be discussing as to what is the impact of the price that India paid, and what was the reason for, what were the ways in which the price was paid, what were the important facets of the war that happened during those 6-7 month period. What were the important things that happened during the war, and the real, heli battle and all those things we'll discuss in the second part of the series to understand what prices did India pay actually on the ground. Thank you so much.
Okay.
First part of the overview. Thank you so much.
Thank you.